Alright, so what conversation seems to really impact the person hearing the gospel? I'll say, so this week, there's one particular person who seems really interested in the conversation. He's agnostic, and he basically explores what religion to follow. He almost went for Buddhism, but I told him, like, hey, that's something that you don't want to do, because there's a lot of contradiction in Buddhism that you don't want to deal with. And so I basically lead him to more towards the path of Jesus Christ, and yeah.
Okay, so the first day we went out to the Boardwalk, we met some guy named Phil. And Phil had a couple questions about Christianity because he was, I believe, raised Catholic.
Yeah,
he was raised Catholic. And he had a couple questions about what we believed in and why we believed it. So we've resolved a lot of those questions, and then we talked to him about the stuff and like how we need Jesus. We don't need good works, but we need the actual faith in Jesus. And we didn't think too much of it at the time, but then the next few days, Phil started coming back and just talking about how much we changed him. And I think that was the most impactful, or one of the most impactful conversations that we've had.
Yeah. Another person would probably be a girl named Emma. So Emma was like, we thought, like, when she came up, she had like a bunch of tattoos all over her and dyed hair. So we were like a bit unsure about like what to expect, because generally those people could be a bit more aggressive to us. But overall, she was really nice, and we went through like the heaven test, right? But she like kind of understood what we were saying and like wasn't like aggressive at all. And like we just thought, oh, maybe she like probably didn't care afterwards, or just thought it was just funny. But a few days later, we saw her again, and it turns out she talked to another one of our people. And she actually did remember a lot of the stuff from what we told her. Like remembering like a metaphor that he said about like an apple tree and how that represents our faith.
Yeah.
So it was actually pretty interesting to see how like she actually remembered that kind of stuff we told her.
Yeah. I think overall, just the amount of people coming back, like, because last year we would talk to people and then we wouldn't see them anymore. But this year we like talked and they would come back and we would have more conversations. I think that back and forth like was super impactful this year, I think. We also met some guy named Dylan. I won't go too much about him, but like he was also a Christian, and we sort of had the same thing with like Phil. We talked to him, and then he would constantly come back, and like I think he talked to Kevin and like Daibo and other people as well. So it was just super impactful. Yeah.
I remember the first day, I had brain fog, and Kevin basically prayed over me. And we just had a prayer over just relaxing, patience, and having a good conversation. And I remember on the first day, I didn't really talk to anyone except this one person. And then this random Jewish person just came out of nowhere. We had a conversation about Jesus Christ. It went like extremely well. I was able to use the Jewish parallels in the Old Testament that pointed toward Jesus. We were talking about Passover, the Jewish holidays. And he seemed to really understand the gospel. And I think that conversation really made me realize the power of prayer. I ended up getting his number. We ended up talking, and he'll be back during July 4th. And then he will be talking to Kevin and reaching out to him again. But that was definitely one of the best conversations I ever had related to the gospel, mostly with this Jewish guy. And I think it really came because of that prayer Kevin prayed over me. And he was definitely very interested in the gospel, and he even called me later, saying that like he wanted to share the gospel. He wanted to find ways to share the gospel, ways to know more about Jesus. So that was a really cool conversation. I never had a person who was that passionate about following up and sharing the gospel.